All right, lots to talk about and catch up on today, but we're going to start today with some breaking news. This literally just made its way into my inbox this morning. It is from an internal whistleblower at the Coca-Cola company that came in and sat down at their desk and found an email requiring this new training. And spoiler, the training literally says, try to be less white. Yes, it does. We're going to go through 5 screenshots that I have of this training from this internal whistleblower. Now, it looks like Coca-Cola, and you know it's Coca-Cola because of the icon right up here in the corner. You can see the Coca-Cola icon, but they're obviously using LinkedIn Learning for their online training programs. It is a very popular training platform. A lot of companies use it. It is not that out of the ordinary. And they are asking their employees to complete a training called Confronting Racism with Robin DiAngelo. Understand what it means to be white, challenging what it means to be racist. Now, you can actually go onto LinkedIn Learning and view this training for yourself. It is publicly available. You can sign up. You can take this training. But what makes this different is, again, the Coca-Cola company is asking their employees to complete this training. So let's take a look at what's in a couple of the slides. It starts off confronting racism, understanding what it means to be white, challenging what it means to be racist. Goes on, one-time workshops on racism are not enough. Establish a set of organizational practices such as monthly affinity groups, cross-racial discussions, ongoing professional development, revamped interview questions that address racial issues. Now, what I want to bring your attention to here is that it says one-time workshops on racism are not enough. This is a very common line that you're going to get from these anti-racist diversity trainers. And basically, I mean, this is how they stay in business, folks. If I do like a manager training, and manager training is something I used to do an awful lot of, I would go in and I would teach managers how to be good bosses, how to communicate with their employees, how to create good working environments. I do that training once. I get paid for it once. I leave them with a set of recordings and a set of tools that they are then charged with implementing in their work environments. Well, anti-racism training doesn't work like that because you can make a lot more money if you have to come back over and over and over again. So what they say is that one is never enough. You have to constantly do the work of becoming an anti-racist. It is a lifelong process in which you will be consistently doing the work. When it comes to how anti-racism address people who have skin color that looks like mine, pasty white, what they say is that you will be racist your entire life. It is a lifelong process of deconstructing your own whiteness, and now they're trying to bring it into organizations. Moving on, we've got this slide here. In the US and other Western nations, white people are socialized to feel that they are inherently superior because they are white. Research shows that by the ages of 3 to 4, children understand that it is better to be white. Now, this is Robin DiAngelo's MO. Of course, you'll see there are no scholarly references to back this up. And if you read the book White Fragility, the references in the book White Fragility, which is where all this stuff comes from, this is what she talks about in that book, there are no academic references for a lot of the information that she purports in that book, particularly not around ideas like this. In White Fragility, Robin DiAngelo talks about being raised as a privileged white lady and how she was always afraid of black people and was afraid of going to potlucks with black people. I'm not making this up. It's actually in the book. She confesses her racism throughout the book. She talks about how she's a racist. She talks about how she treats her coworkers with racist behavior that she then has to go and apologize for, and she's always so grateful when her coworkers forgive her for being racist. But does she provide any sources to back it up? No, she's speaking from her own perspective. Robin DiAngelo is in this years-long process of making a public confession about how racist she is, and she assumes that because she is a racist and because she is afraid of black people, that all white people are racist. I mean, the amount of mental gymnastics that this woman plays, it is mind-boggling, and she is making millions of dollars convincing white people that are coming, most of them, guys, they're coming from a good place. Like, when people get sucked into this stuff, I genuinely believe they're doing it because they want the world to be fair. They want to treat people well. They want to do the right thing. But teaching people that they are racist when they are not racist, when their behaviors do not show that they are racist in any way, is not the way to address racism in our society. And it's really, at the end of the day, this is a process of validation for Robin DiAngelo. She admits that she's a racist. Fine, Robin, go do the work yourself. But what you're doing is making millions of dollars convincing other people that they're racist too. There's a special place in hell for Robin DiAngelo. Moving on. The next slide, and again, you can very clearly see the Coca-Cola image in this one. To be less white is to be less oppressive, to be less arrogant, to be less certain, to be less defensive, to be less ignorant, to be more humble. Listen, believe, break with apathy, break with white solidarity. So let me read this slide in a different way. What this slide says is that people who are white are oppressive, are arrogant, are certain, are defensive, are ignorant, are not humble, don't listen, don't believe, don't have apathy, and act with white solidarity. That's what this slide is really saying. This is an employee training for one of the largest companies in the world. And by the way, I was not sent these slides by a white person. I was sent these slides by a Latino because this stuff pisses the Latinos off just as much as it pisses the white people off. I'm sorry. I mean, and I shouldn't even say it just pisses the white people off. This pisses off anyone that believes that racism is wrong. This is racism. You can be black and believe this is wrong. You can be Asian and believe this is wrong. You can be Native American and believe this is wrong. And I know many people of all of those different ethnicities and backgrounds that do believe this is wrong. But then the last slide we've got right here. Try to be less white. That is the end of the training. Try to be less white. You guys thought I was joking, didn't you? No, I'm not even mincing words. The only words on this slide, and again, we can see the Coca-Cola image up in the background there. Try to be less white. So this is not the first time I've talked about Coca-Cola on this channel. I do have a whole playlist of 4 videos where they sent out an allyship guidebook to all their employees. It was like this little multimedia guidebook about how to be a good white ally. And I deconstructed that entire thing. And so this is not the first time this has shown up from Coca-Cola, but for me, this is a really, really, really egregious violation of the trust that their employees should have for them. If your job at Coca-Cola should not depend on whether or not you buy into the idea of being less white. It should depend on whether or not you can go in and do your job. And here, I have a question. What if Coca-Cola did a training that said, try to be less black, or try to be less Latino, or try to be less Asian, or try to be less Irish, or try to be less Italian, or try to be less Ukrainian? I said to my husband this morning, I yelled at him that he needed to be less Ukrainian. None of those things would be acceptable. Try to be less blonde. Try to be less blue-eyed. Try to be less... I don't even know. But none of those things are acceptable to say, and certainly not acceptable to say in a professional working environment. So Coca-Cola, we see you, Coca-Cola. We see you. You really should cut out the nonsense. You are not creating a healthier work environment with this type of training. You're not creating a more diverse work environment. You're not creating more opportunities for your employees you're not creating more opportunities for your employees of color with this training. You are doing nothing but creating more division and teaching what I am going to assume is a large portion of your staff to hate themselves. You are teaching any of your staff members who are a white or biracial that they are oppressive, arrogant, certain, defensive, ignorant, not humble, don't listen, don't believe, don't have apathy. This is fundamentally racist. It should not be allowed. But here we are. In 2021, in the United States of the woke. All right, that's all I've got for this training. Listen, if you enjoyed this video, I am going to be debuting a new exclusive show on my channel on Rockfin, which is not YouTube, which is part of the point. I really want to encourage everyone to get off YouTube and get onto Rockfin. And so I'm going to be debuting a new show called The Woke Roundup, where I'm basically going to once a week go through a whole bunch of examples of woke nonsense that's popped up here or there that I just haven't gotten the chance to cover in a separate video. So all of this is going to be available on my Rockfin channel. I will pin that channel in a comment down below. It is going to be an exclusive, and so I hope you'll join me over on Rockfin to get exclusive access to this content. And there's lots of other cool stuff on Rockfin too. Listen, there's lots of great creators on there. We aren't going to be censored like we are on YouTube. I can talk about whatever the flip I want and not have to worry about being demonetized or banned. And that's why people from both the left and the right, listen, Jimmy Dore's on there, Nico House is on there, there's me, Wayne Dupree's on here somewhere, there he is, we've got Mike Cernovich, we've got Scott Adams, we've got Jesse Lee Peterson. Lots of great people are on there from both the left and the right. I think that it's going to become a really up-and-coming platform because we can say whatever we want. And they do a very good job of curating the people who they are including on the platform, and they trust us to do the right thing. So I'm thrilled to be over there. Again, I hope you'll join me for exclusive content over on Rockfin. I do also post all of the videos I do on this channel, so you can see I'm posting the regular content over there as well. I'm still going to be posting here on YouTube. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere, but I hope you'll join me on Rockfin.